Hello and welcome to this video. My name is Anushka Gandhi and today I'm going to give you 5 tips and tricks to score more in your IELTS reading and listening test. Now for both general and academic IELTS tests, the reading and listening modules are the most scoring. So in order to fetch a good overall band score, you need to score more in the listening and reading modules. Now in my case, I scored a band of 8.5 in both reading and listening. So in order to score 8.5 in listening, you just have a leeway of losing 1 mark out of 40. So you need to score 39 out of 40. Whereas if you want to score an 8.5 in reading general IELTS, you need to score somewhere between 38 to 39 out of 40. So there you get a leeway of losing maximum 2 marks. I know it might sound difficult at this moment, but trust me, it is possible because it was possible in my case. So just use these tips and tricks and they will help you boost up and get good score. So now before beginning, I just wanted to request you, please consider to subscribe to my channel. I have seen a lot of you watching my videos and not subscribing. Please subscribe to this channel, hit the like button. This will help me grow. This will give me a lot of motivation. So now, without wasting any further time, let's get started. So tip number 1 is understanding and practicing the IELTS test. Now, understanding is not just the test format, but you also need to know how the test actually sounds like. For example, the accent which is used in the text, or probably the vocabulary which is put into it, or just the speed or pace of the overall test. Now for that, you need to practice this test at least 10 times before you go on for your scheduled IELTS test. Tip number 2 is do not keep guessing the answers. Now you have a very limited time in your hand and the audio keeps going, so it won't stop for you. Now if you happen to hear a lot of keywords, don't keep guessing the answers. Don't wait in anticipation of the answer as to when it will come or what do you think is the right one. Just jot down what you think is right, or jot down what all you hear. You get a rough paper handy, or you get a rough side on the paper which you get. Jot down whatever you hear. The answer is going to be one of them. You get time at the end of the test to come back to it and write down, or then think of what the answer could be. So do not waste your time, or do not skip the answers just thinking it may or may not be the correct answer. As soon as you hear something which could be a keyword, jot it down. Then come back, think about it, and write the correct answer there. Now, tip number 3 is pre-read all the questions and the answers before the audio starts. Now, you get a very brief period wherein you're supposed to read the entire questions mentioned in that particular section before the audio starts. So, do not waste a single time. Just read everything, read all the questions, read all the answers. If you happen to read it once and you still have some time left, go back, read it again. How much ever you read, you will have that fit in your mind, and as soon as you hear something, some keyword related to that question, you know that's the answer. Okay, so tip number 4 is keep your eye on the next question. Do not just stick on to one particular question you're on. So if you happen to miss that particular area of the audio, you at least know the right answer for the next one. So you would not end up not writing anything for the entire section. So keep your eyes on multiple places so you know, okay, this is the keyword, this is the answer. Tip number 5 is to read the question very carefully. Now, some questions might ask you to write 2 words, wherein the others might ask you to write 2 numbers. So always make sure what they're asking for. For example, if in the question they're asking to write 1 number, just write 1. If they're asking you to write 1 word, then you're supposed to write one O-N-E. So always make sure, do not make these silly mistakes, because you might end up losing marks even though you might know the answer. So always make sure what the examiner is asking you and write the answers accordingly. If they're asking you for 2 words, make sure you write 2. If they're asking you for 4, make sure you have 4 words there. Do not make these silly mistakes. Also, do not lose your marks on spellings, because spellings are very important in IELTS listening test, and you cannot afford to lose marks on spellings. Okay, so for the reading module of an IELTS test, the first and the foremost important tip is to highlight the keywords. Now, as soon as you come across something in the passage which you think is noteworthy or could be associated with the subject of the passage or something which is related to the questions or the answers mentioned below, please go and highlight. Now, if you're giving a computer-based IELTS test, you get an option of highlighting there, so you just yellow the part which you think is important. If you're doing a pen and paper based, just underline so you know this is something important or this is something which you could use later on when you're finding answers. So highlight wherever you think is necessary. Tip number 2 is save your time. Now you get to solve 3 passages for your IELTS reading test and you get almost 60 minutes. Now you are supposed to use 20 minutes each for each of these passages, but my tip would be to use 15 and 20 minutes for these 3 passages, because the last passages is going to be a little difficult than the first 2. So you could put 15 and 20 minutes, so you get 10 minutes to go back, check all your answers, because trust me, in my case I found 2-3 mistakes at the end of the test, and that's when I corrected them, and that's how I probably scored an 8.5. So save some time, go back and check, double check, proofread, and then submit. Tip number 3 is locate your answers wisely. Now, in an IELTS reading test, the answers usually flow downwards. For example, if you're looking to find answers for questions A, B, and C, and you're searching for your answer A and you're having a hard time finding that, but you found your answer B in a passage, probably in the second paragraph. Now you need to know that your answer A has to be above that. So it's going to be above the second paragraph, somewhere in the first paragraph probably. So now you've defined your borders, your boundaries to find your answers, and you could just have to find in that small area. Whereas for the answer C, it has to be below the answer B. So this is a defined format for an IELTS reading test. For every passage is going to be the same. Your answer will flow downwards. So just locate your answers wisely. Tip number 4 is to understand true, false, not given, or yes, no, not given. Now I've seen majority of people failing to answer correctly the true, false, not given kind of questions. Now I am not going to give you a detailed understanding in that, but the only thing I would put it out there is for a statement to understand if it's true, false, or not given, you need to simply know true will be something which agrees with the information provided in the passage. So that's going to be a true. False is something which contradicts. Now it is going to be exactly opposite mentioned in the passage, so that's going to be false. Now not given is something which is not at all mentioned in the passage. Now something which is out of the world, which is out of the passage and not at all mentioned, that is going to be not given. So tip number 5, I know could sound silly, but trust me, I've seen a lot of people not following it and ending up scoring literally 0. So please write your answers in your answer bank right away. Do not wait until the end, because I know you get some time at the end to fill your answer sheet. But trust me, you may run out of time or you may completely forget. So just write your answers simultaneously as soon as you move on to the next questions. I had a friend who forgot to do so and ended up scoring a 0. So trust me, you don't want to be that person. Write your answers right away. Okay, so I think that was all about today's video. I hope you felt this informative. If you did so, please consider to subscribe to my channel. Hit the like button, comment down below what you want to watch next, and also hit the bell icon so you know when I post a video. Until then, you have a wonderful day. Bye.